I don't care what anybody says. I'll always love you guys. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Unparalleled Universe. And today we're going to be talking about some of my favorite reveals from ToyFair 2019. So I'm not going to try to cover everything that was shown. I'm just going to talk about some of the things that I was really excited about. And obviously I'm not out there. That's in New York. I'm in California. I wasn't able to get out there this year. I really hope to one of these years. I've never been out there and it looks like it's a lot of fun. But luckily we have social media, so a lot of people that are out there are just posting constant pictures. So there's pictures all over Facebook, Instagram. My feed today on both of those was just insane with all these new reveals. It was really hard to keep up and to know what was going on. So I don't really want to get into talking about, like, I'm not going to sit here and say the information that I give in this video is going to be 100% accurate, because it was just, there was a lot of information flying around. So I don't know everything. I'm just here to talk about some of the things that I was excited about, and there's definitely a lot to talk about. So I'll give a quick overview, and then at the end I'll talk about my top 5 favorite reveals from ToyFair 2019. So let's get into it. First off, Diamond Select had some pretty cool things. They showed off a new Marvel Select Sandman figure, and we did see him earlier in the week, but they had him on display there, and then they gave us a look at some of the accessories that he's going to come with. He has all these cool different like sand effects for his arms. He has like interchangeable legs, or like a lower base piece, so you can make it look like his lower half is made of sand, and that's really cool. And then they also had on display a new Bruce Lee figure, which was really surprising, because when you think of Diamond Select, you don't necessarily think of figures that require a lot of articulation, but Bruce Lee is definitely someone that should have a lot of articulation, and that's why the figure arts figures are so cool, because they're able to stuff that articulation in there. But with that Diamond Select one, it looks like they did their best to put a lot in there. It even has shoulder swivels, which are butterfly shoulders that I've never seen on a Diamond Select figure. So that's really cool and exciting, and it just makes me think about some other possibilities that Diamond Select might be working on. So very cool stuff from Diamond Select. And NECA had a bunch of cool stuff on display, a bunch of awesome horror stuff. You know, I'm not a big horror guy, as you might know, but they had a bunch of horror stuff on display. But the thing that I was most excited about from NECA was the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Rocksteady, and Bebop. Both of those look really cool. I feel like we've seen them before. I can't say 100% that we've seen them before or where we've seen them. They just look really familiar, but they look amazing, and they're gonna go really good with the Ninja Turtles Comic-Con set that came out a couple years ago, and those are the same figures that they're gonna be releasing as Target 2-packs. And another thing that I wasn't really expecting to care about was Super7, I believe it's called. Yeah, Super7 likes to do a lot of figures based on like old cartoons. They've done some really cool Masters of the Universe stuff. I think they've done some Thundercat stuff. I can't say for sure. Their bodies look really similar to some of the stuff that Mattel used to do, so in my mind I kind of get mixed up, but I know that they've done some Masters of the Universe stuff. But the thing that they showed that I was really excited about was the Toxic Crusader. And I always loved that cartoon when I was a kid, and I also love the action figures. They had the craziest action figures. I had a bunch of them, so it's really cool to see Super7 jumping into that. And the figure looks really cool, so I do plan on picking that up when it comes out. I'm not really sure if Super7 is just something you could go buy, or if it's like a thing you have to sign up for, or if they're exclusive to anywhere. So if anyone knows, let me know in the comments, but that figure does look really cool. So moving on to Mezco. So I don't feel that Mezco went all out this year. They had a couple cool things on display. They had a bunch of stuff that we've seen before, but I think that them putting out that teaser a couple weeks ago kind of ruined ToyFair for them, because those teasers weren't that like cryptic, or they were kind of easy to figure out. Most of the things that people predicted from that teaser, they happen to be right. I thought they would throw some curveballs. Like, I really thought that they'd give us something else other than Hellboy. The silhouette that they showed obviously looked like Hellboy, but I thought it was going to be a little different, but it was Hellboy. And it was the character based on Hellboy from the new movie that's coming out with David Harbour. So I think that's pretty cool, but I mean, that one seems kind of risky, because I don't know if that movie, I don't know if a lot of people are anticipating that movie. I think it looks cool, and I'm sure that, you know, comic book nerds and action figure nerds are going to be into it, but I feel like, I don't know. That one really seems like a risk for Mezco, because who knows how popular it's going to be. It's not like proven to be popular like the Del Toro ones, you know. But but we'll see. Hopefully that movie's good, and the figure does look nice. And what's really interesting about it is that he doesn't have like a shirt or anything, but it still looks like he has articulation in the chest. It's really hard to see, but I was looking really close at the picture, and it does look like there's some kind of diaphragm cut right there, so that's pretty cool. And I love the way that the jacket and the sculpt look. All that looks really good. And then they showed us Captain Marvel, which looks really nice too, but that was also in the silhouette, so not really a big surprise, but she's gonna come with some interchangeable pieces, some energy effects, and a bunch of cool things. And then we saw Harley Quinn, which is another one that no one's gonna be surprised by, but it does look really nice, and it's Harley Quinn based on her animated series look. I think that look works really well for Mezco, so I think that's gonna be fun to check out. And then they also had Wonder Woman, which is another one that people knew, you know, but she does look good. It's gonna look good next to the other DC figures. I might pick up that Wonder Woman. I did pass on the movie version, but I might go for a comic book version because that one does look pretty cool, even though it looks like it has the same articulation, but it just looks more interesting to me. And then they also showed a character from the cult classic movie They Live. That's not something that I'm incredibly excited about, but it does look cool, and it's always cool to get guys in suits because there's a lot of things that you could do with that. And once again, Mezco gave out like a press media bag that had a bunch of goodies in it. It did have 2 Mezco 112 figures this year, and that's insane that they just give those things out, but that's awesome. And the 2 figures were Blade and Gomez, and both of the figures are like variations or different versions of what we probably will be seeing later on down the road. And that kind of sucks because that Blade figure that's in there looks really, really nice, but I might just be really excited about it because we haven't seen the regular release of Blade come out yet, so that one kind of looks a little bit more, you know, it hurts a little bit more than it would if the Blade figure was already out, because I'm really excited to check out the Blade figure, and now I'm just jealous of people that get to see it before me, you know. But anyways, the figure looks really cool. Hopefully one day I could get my hands on that exclusive version. And same thing for Gomez. There's a lot of crazy things that they included in there. It looks like a really fun figure. They had him on display posed up all crazy, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, that's crazy for those people out there. They were able to get that, and you know, I wish I could get it myself, but I'm not going to cry about it too much because I've been able to get my hands on plenty exclusives over the years, so you know, I'm bound to miss them every now and then, and that's perfectly fine. But anyways, as far as Mezco's reveals and presentation goes, I mean, I wasn't there, but just from what I saw, it didn't look that impressive. There is some cool things. I'm not going to say that they sucked or anything, but it's kind of funny because the most interesting thing that Mezco had going on was the little pamphlet that they pass out inside of that media press goodie bag, because they showed some stuff in there that wasn't on display in the cases or anything, and it's stuff that if I was there I would have been going insane over, and we'll be talking about those a little bit later because some of those are some of my most anticipated things from ToyFair. But let's move on to Marvel Legends. So Marvel Legends, Hasbro, oh dude, they killed it out there. They went crazy. They were releasing, I feel like this is the best showing at a convention ever for Hasbro. And it's not like I've followed everyone, and it's not like I've seen every single one since they've been around, but for as long as I've like paid attention, this is like the craziest like presentation for Hasbro. They showed so many cool things that I'm so excited about. So I'm just gonna go off and ramble about all the different things that they showed. I don't really know what goes with what set or what wave Build-A-Figures. I don't have any of that kind of information, and to be honest, I just didn't look. I was just excited about what we saw. So, and there was actually so much stuff that I'm gonna be looking down at my phone a little bit just to kind of make it easier to talk about, because they went freaking crazy. So I'm sorry if that's distracting, but let's get into it here. So some of the things that I was most excited about was the upcoming X-Force wave that's going to feature Cannonball. It's going to feature Mr. Sinister. It's going to feature a new Nightcrawler, which looks really cool. It looks like the upper torso is new, and it's sculpted by May Shelf. He's a very talented sculptor. He's made a lot of awesome figures over the years, and he said that it's going to include 3 different heads, and he sculpted all 3 of them. So awesome work, man. It looks great. Can't wait to check it out. But for me, I love the Toy Biz one, and I would have been fine if they never made a new Nightcrawler, but I'm still excited to get that one, and he's gonna come with a sword, so that's cool. So that's gonna be really awesome, and I like the fact that they included multiple heads, and that's gonna help it separate itself from the Toy Biz version. So I think that's really good stuff. And that X-Force wave is also going to feature Boom Boom, which is really cool. That's a like pretty obscure character. I don't even know if she's been in comics recently, but she was in X-Force back in the day, and I think that's awesome stuff. And then they're going to be doing another vintage wave, and this vintage wave is going to be based on the packaging from the 90s Marvel figures that Toy Biz used to put out. I think they were like 5-inch, and if you're in your mid-30s or early 30s, that was your line if you were into Marvel stuff. I used to love those things. I used to buy so many of them. I wish I still had them. I know they're not the greatest figures, but I used to love those things so much. And the X-Force stuff was especially cool because I want to say that sometimes they'd have X-Force figures in that line for characters that weren't even in the comics yet. So they would make a toy and then they'd stick them in the comics. So I think that's pretty interesting. So these figures appeal to me a lot more than the first couple of waves of vintage figures, because even though those were really cool figures and I like what they were based on, the artwork that those were based on were kind of just a few years before my time. This new X-Men stuff is things that was like my childhood. So I'm super excited about those. And that might be one of the first waves that I go ahead and buy 2 of each figure just to keep one in the packaging. I don't do stuff like that. I like to open everything and play with it, but those packages look awesome and I think I need to get 2 of each. But anyways, that wave is going to include a Cyclops figure, and it's Cyclops based on his X-Factor uniform, which is really cool. It's going to have a bunch of different blast effects and multiple heads. And then there's going to be a Silver Samurai, which is awesome. Look at the sculpt on that thing. It is beautiful. Can't wait to check it out. And then they're going to have a Dazzler with the bomber jacket that looks really good. We've already seen a Dazzler figure, but this one is going to be, this one seems a little bit more interesting. It's not based on her pop star look. It's more her superhero look. So that is really cool. They're also going to have another Wolverine figure, and somebody called it Patch. I'm not really sure. I know the body kind of looks like it's Patch look, but the head doesn't, so maybe they'll include another Patch head in there, even though they already gave us one in the Legendary Riders set, so who knows, but we'll see. And then there was a new Spider-Man wave for the Far From Home movie, and that looks really good too. Not really sure what the Build-A-Figure is, and they did not show a Mysterio figure, but they did have a lot of really cool things, including a couple new movie versions of Spider-Man. First off, there's just the Spider-Man in his new look that has the black and red costume, and then there's Spider-Man in his shield tactical suit, I guess you could call it. It really looks like the noir look, so that's awesome, and it looks like there's a lot of good articulation in that figure, so that's good stuff. And then they also showed a Scorpion figure that looks really good, and from what they're saying, it looks like it's going to have a bendy wire in the tail, so that is awesome stuff too. And then there's a Hydro Man. Hydro Man looks awesome, and it has a bunch of different water effects, water on his feet, all kinds of crazy stuff. There's a new Spider-Woman figure, which looks really good too, and this isn't Jessica Drew, this is Julia Carpenter, I think her name is. So that's awesome to finally get her, because I don't think they've made a figure of her since the old Toy Biz days, and that figure wasn't very good. So it's very cool that we're going to be seeing an update of that. And then they also showed off a Doppelganger figure, and I don't know, he looks cool, but it still has that torso that sucked on the 6-armed Spider-Man. This one does look a little bit better because it doesn't look as plasticky and weird. It looks like they put a little bit more love into the paint details. So that's something to look forward to, but I'm not going to say that I'm excited about that one. It looks okay, but we'll see. Moving on to some movie figures. It looks like they're going to be doing a couple of 2-packs and then taking another shot at a couple characters that they kind of messed up the first time around. So that's cool. And yeah, it looks like we're going to get a Hela and Executioner, which look really nice. And then we're going to get a Grandmaster and Korg. I'm really excited about that Korg because that's a fun figure. Hopefully we get a comic book version of him eventually. And then we're also going to get a Captain America from First Avenger and Peggy Carter, and I think these are both really cool. I'm very excited about that Captain America. Peggy Carter looks okay, but it looks like the articulation is a little bit limited, but I guess that kind of makes sense with what she's wearing. And last but not least, for the movie stuff, it looks like they're going to take another stab at the movie Iron Spider. This time around it's going to feature the mechanical spider arms coming out of his back, so that's cool. And then they're also going to be giving us another Iron Man figure, and this one looks really nice too. It has a metallic look, and it also has a bunch of cool weaponry effects, so that's good stuff. And then one of the things I was really excited about from Hasbro is this 80th year anniversary of Marvel line, and it looks like they're going to be branding a bunch of their figures with the 80th anniversary logo, but there's going to be 10 figures that are actually part of the 80th anniversary line, so that's pretty exciting. And it's a bunch of 2-packs. First off, we have a Juggernaut Juggernaut versus Colossus 2-pack, and that is really cool. The Colossus is based on his more classic look. Juggernaut is the same as the Build-A-Figure, but it has a new head, and it also has open hands, which is pretty cool. And he also has an interchangeable head. You could have a regular head that's the same as the Build-A-Figure, except it has white eyes, and then you could have like a battle damaged head, and it also has like the Kane Marco unmasked type of head. And then we will also be getting a Alex Ross Iron Man that looks really nice. The one that was on display was really cool. It had a bunch of shiny metallic paint, but then the one that they had in the package, which I guess is like a factory sample, it didn't have any metallic paint. It was just kind of yellow, so that one doesn't look as good as the one they had on display, but we'll see which one actually makes it to the store. So let's get into my top 5 ToyFair 2019 reveals, and first off at number 5, it's gonna be that new 80th anniversary Thor. Oh my god, that thing looks amazing. It looks like it's a huge update from the Toy Biz Giant Man version, and man, it looks incredible. I cannot wait. And then next up at number 4 is the new Hulk figure, and the Hulk figure is gonna come along with the first appearance version of Wolverine, and that Hulk figure just blew my mind when I saw it. It has shoulder swivels, it has the ripped Bruce Banner lab coat hanging over his shoulders, it has a bunch of articulation, it looks big, it has a perfect like old school Hulk head sculpt. Oh man, that thing is beautiful. I cannot wait. As soon as I saw it, I posted a picture on my Instagram saying it's probably going to be the best Hulk ever, and that includes the figure arts version. We'll see, but man, it looks so good. It's so exciting to get a comic book version of Hulk from Hasbro. Really good stuff. And then for number 3, my third most anticipated ToyFair reveal is going to be the Mezco Moon Knight. And it wasn't really a reveal, it was just in their catalog that they passed out to the press. And even though it's super white, and I know that people are going to worry about getting it dirty, it looks amazing. And I think that Moon Knight is a really good figure for the Mezco 112 collective line. His whole look just works perfect with their aesthetic. And the same thing could be said for my number 2 favorite reveal, which is the Mezco 112 Collective Gambit, which is the same situation. It was just a picture of his face in that press book. And Gambit would have been at number 1 for me because he was my favorite character when I was a kid. Well, I loved him from the animated series. Everybody else loved Wolverine, and I just loved Gambit, and I used to love arguing with people about how much Gambit was better than Wolverine. Didn't really turn out to be true. Wolverine's a much better character than Gambit, I will admit, now that I'm you know, almost 40 years old. But yeah, I love Gambit. I'm very happy that Mezco's gonna tackle him because like with Moon Knight, his whole look just works for the Mezco aesthetic. So that's very exciting stuff. And he would have been at number 1 if they showed off his whole body. I mean, there's a chance they could ruin it, you know, which you never know. You never know. It could be garbage. But I have faith that Mezco will do a really good job at Gambit. So I'm very excited about that. And at number 1, the thing that I'm most excited about from ToyFair 2019 is the Marvel Legends 80th Anniversary Captain America with chainmail. Son, it's gonna be so cool. I posted pictures of it. I posted pictures about it on YouTube, Instagram, everything. I'm so excited about that thing. I can't believe it took this long for Hasbro to give us a Captain America with decent looking chainmail. I mean, they gave us Black Knight that had like chainmail. They gave us Dread Knight, I think his name was, Hobgoblin, Green Goblin, all these characters that have like this chainmail kind of effect, but no love for Captain America. They gave him a plain body and a wolf head, so it is what it is. They're making up for it now. That figure looks awesome, and I just cannot wait to get my hands on it. That's another one I'll probably buy multiples of because, man, I'm just so excited about it. And I don't know if he's gonna top the face-off Captain America from Toy Biz. He might, you never know, but I love that figure. I always will. But yeah, that Captain America, oh man, he looks incredible. So anyways, as you can see, I was very excited about ToyFair this year, so sorry if I was like all over the place and rambling. It's a lot of fun stuff, and it's just a good time to be a collector. I wish I was out there. Hopefully I'll make it out there next year. We will see. But I will be at Comic-Con this year, so hopefully this year's Comic-Con is as exciting as this year's ToyFair. I'm sure it will be. And as I said before, there was a bunch of pictures being thrown around on social media, posted everywhere, so I'm not 100% sure where all these pictures came from. So if one of these pictures is yours and you want me to give you credit, just send me a message or on here or on Instagram or whatever, and I'll be sure to leave your information in the description below so that you could get the credit that you deserve for hooking up these good pictures. And also, I did take a bunch of pictures from marvelousnews.com, so be sure to go check out them. And they're going to be doing a couple contests on their forums, and it's very simple. I think all you have to do is pretty much just be active on their forums, and you're entered. You could potentially win a gift card to Big Bag Toy Store. So that's really cool stuff. That's a good place to hang out and talk about figures and all that cool stuff. So check them out. And also I did take some pictures from the Articulated Comic Book Art Instagram page. So be sure to check that out too. I'll leave a link in the description below. Also, Boog Nice from Articulated Comic Book Art will have a more in-depth look at a bunch of this stuff that I talked about over on his YouTube channel. And of course, I'll leave a link in the description below to his stuff too. Yeah, so thanks a lot to all you guys that were actually out there taking pictures so the rest of us can live vicariously through you. But anyways, I think that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff. And that's it. Peace.